Good afternoon, and it's great to see you, Ambassador Ashok Kanta. A special hello. Good to see you again after a very long time. You're looking great. My comments this afternoon are as the Vice Chairman of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, so my comments are based on the Chamber of Commerce point of view. I think it's an opportune moment for us to discuss how the two neighbors can discuss and enhance bilateral trade, investment, and economic relations, particularly as both economies now charter their post-COVID economic strategy. I think today's discussion is in the context of several important ties that holds the two countries together. We have heard from all the speakers thus far. I think it's no need for me to mention again, we both hold rich history in terms of culture, diplomatic and economic ties. We enjoy even similar type of foods. And if not said yet, we thrive in rivalry when it comes to the sports such as cricket. So the economic ties are underpinned by India being one of Sri Lanka's largest leading trade partner and a source market for tourist arrivals. The total trade between our two countries is just under $5 billion. Imports from India to Sri Lanka being 5 more times than the exports from Sri Lanka to India. That balance needs to improve sooner. There are also, we have joint collaborations in international forums, already it's been said, like SAD, BIMSTEC. Sri Lanka has access to the 1.3 billion market, and which is the fifth largest economy in the world in its doorstep. Sri Lanka in the context with an FTA as a prime value proposition to attract future trade and investment. This has also been spoken. I think it's an opportune moment to work jointly together to aid each other's economies to recovery by bringing this FTA to full use. One of the things that needs to be looked at is to reviving this FTA to its full potential. I know Sri Lanka is in the process of developing a national trade policy. Post this policy being formed, I'm sure the focus will turn to the FTAs. I know there was extensive rounds of negotiation. I know Ambassador Kanta, you were in the thick of things when these discussions were being taken place. And unfortunately, domestically, there was not more consultative approach that was done. Therefore, it ended up with a lot of negative public perception. For whatever it's worth, I think it needs to be revamped, rethought about, and to work on the FTA. Even the current ISFTA, which is in force, there are some areas that needs quick fixed. I think I brought this up at several such discussions. The MRA, or the Mutual Recognition Agreement for Goods, whereby the lab certification performed by any country from a reputed accredited conformity body can be agreed. Because of this MRA not being in place, a lot of export from Sri Lanka to India is getting stalled. This is, you can call this even as one of the non-tariff barriers amongst many other non-tariff barriers. Even there are technical barriers to trades when it comes to standards, testing, and even some quota-related issues. I'm sure if we can look at most of this, and I think it's all to do with a lot of bureaucracy. If some of this bureaucracy can be ironed out, a lot of these things can allow the bilateral trade to improve. Another area that I wanted to mention this afternoon was the bilateral investment relationship. The bilateral investment treaty between our two countries was terminated somewhere in 2017. I think this can be relooked as part of the overall FTA process. I think the Sri Lanka-Singapore FTA has addressed this in a separate agreement. So something like this could be done that could help. The new government of Sri Lanka now will also be able to play a conducive environment for businesses and foreign investors to operate in and make a Sri Lanka a strategic location. I think the location also was spoken about the other speakers in bringing investors back to Sri Lanka. I think also there is a lot of scope for ICT, business process management, where there is highly skilled workforce to be able to produce world-class products in Sri Lanka for quick delivery using our hub status as the port that we have. Currently, the newest entrant to Sri Lanka is HCL Technologies, establishing in Sri Lanka in a recent example of countries looking at to manage their technology service from Sri Lanka. So that was a very welcome investment that came recently. Of course, all of you know the port city and the Hambantota industrial zone, which is now open for foreign investors and particularly from India. Attractive incentives, I'm sure, will be given by the current government for these two projects that are now being rolled out. FDI, the India is being the top 5 investors in Sri Lanka, has a potential to even attract a lot more FDIs than the current level. We are still under 2% of GDP when it comes to FDI. I'm sure there is a lot more opportunities in sectors like manufacturing and services as the government focuses. Based on the current COVID, there's a lot of focus on domestic manufacturing, like our Foreign Secretary, Admiral Columbege, just mentioned. As part of the Ceylon Chamber to promote businesses, in the last 6 to 7 months, we've been having numerous amount of webinars to promote the business themes under the umbrella Chamber Goes Beyond Borders. Several such B2B discussions have been held with Indian counterparts. Many webinars with Indian chambers has been held. Even last month, a specific webinar was held on agriculture, was organized, and there was a lot of keen participation from both sides. Basically, all this highlights the possibility for a greater interaction, and we hope even on Chamber's part of conducting these webinars, because we are unable to travel with each other to promote the trade and investment linkage, but we will continue to work, as I mentioned before. There are other sectors that is open for collaboration as well. I mentioned agriculture and manufacture, but education, tourism, transport, IT, aviation, ports and energy. I mean, the list goes on. So as India has a post-COVID strategy called Atmanirbhar Bharat, we hope this provides a good opportunity for Sri Lankan exporters also to look at investing into India and at the same time invite Indian businesses to invest in Sri Lanka. I think the strategies to coexist and work together has been already mentioned. So as part of Ceylon Chamber and the Indo-Lanka Chamber of Commerce, we are keen to work and to assist in all these associations going forward. Thank you.